Well, hey again, everyone. I hope you're all doing fairly well out there, and I got some stuff to talk about today, obviously, because there's an update and all the other good stuff, and there's a stack of media pickups because it's been like it's been another month since I did my last update here, and a lot of things have happened at that point in time in terms of delays getting things out, because I just put out the review for Bourne Identity, which was kind of I think I kind of put together on kind of a whim or whatnot. Because I was trying to think of what the hell to do next, and I wasn't quite ready to do a lot of other things that required a lot more research and various other things. Bourne Identity was something I was already fairly well up to speed on, and I'd actually watched the TV miniseries a couple of years ago when I was originally going to do the review, and I just didn't quite get into it. So I still had that knowledge and a few other things going on and stuff like that, and I was able to get into doing that video, but I shot like the first half of it, and then I got into my schedule at work and stuff like that for the next couple of days, and then I got hit with a bout of insomnia. And so there was just this, obviously, when you have insomnia, every day feels like an eternity because you've slept like 2-3 hours, and then you're trying to just function and stay awake or trying to find a way to get some rest. It's just a very bad situation. It was just really bad. It was a couple of days me dealing with this and trying to find some way because I just could not get any sleep. And so that also put everything on hold, and I couldn't do anything. I was not in a functional state of mind or physiology to actually do any of that type of stuff. So I think that put on pause. But just as a kind of a tip or whatnot, if you do have some kind of insomnia, something like that, just can't sleep, try to do some exercise, because it was me getting up and actually going to work and doing physical activity that triggered off me yawning and stuff like that. And I was able to go to get some sleep right when I got home, and then do like a full night and stuff like that. So since that happened, I've gotten to sleep without using any sleep aids or anything like that. I fell asleep very naturally. So if you ever have that kind of thing happen, try to get some physical activity, because I guess the endorphins will kind of kick in and start making things happen so you can actually get some rest. So good tip there for anyone who has that kind of thing happen to them. Try to just go out and run or something like that, around the block. Whatever you can do, just try to get some physical activity, because I'm sure you're exhausted, stuff like that, and you just don't feel like doing it. But push yourself, it'll really make a difference. So once that all got back up and I got my energy back up and all that different stuff and my health better, I was able to finish shooting the whole thing and editing it and stuff like that. So that's why it took so long to get the next video out. I really wanted to do a whole lot of things in August I didn't get to do because of that situation. So it kind of made this entire video take like 2 weeks to actually get done. And then I had all these problems with YouTube, content ID stuff, that I eventually started to kind of do some things, kind of shift around and get it all cleared. It was a real pain in the ass. So regardless of that, moving into September, moving into new stuff, I did shoot a new retro video series episode. I have to go back through it. I might just reshoot the whole thing just on a presentation level. I think it could be better. So I have to go back through it and think about it and mull it over. But it was for The Abyss and True Lies, because obviously that's a thing that's stretched on for so many years now, and them not getting past into the HD digital age and stuff like that. So it's a very difficult, well, not difficult video or anything like that, just like this very big struggle a lot of aficionados have had, is like, just get the goddamn things out. So that's in the works or whatnot. So I still got to sit down and rewatch it and reshoot a few things and work it out. But that was at least shot because I wasn't quite up to the task of doing the next video, which is supposed to be for The Hidden, the Jack Shoulder film from '87, sci-fi kind of horror action type of stuff. Really want to get into that, but I couldn't sit down and just do notes on the thing while I was listening to the commentary track, because there's way too much information. I just wouldn't have been possible. So I have to sit down, listen to commentary, then watch the film proper to be able to do that type of thing. So I just need a little extra time there. But it's a very jam-packed month, so I'll get into that with the media pickups, how that ties into everything else going on. But with one of the media pickups, just so I can slip it in there as the whole thing of doing the commentaries that we just recorded. We did, myself and Steve, we did John Carpenter's Assault on Precinct 13, which will be the first one coming up. And we did Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning. Paid about $11 for this thing, which is a lot more money. Which it's just way too much. Because it's a very bad film. And we do a lot of critical analysis on why the film just doesn't measure up and just didn't work very well, stuff like that. So it's a very enjoyable one. I've listened to it at least twice already. That kind of, first to just proof it, just make sure the audio recording came out. Then I did the entire process to kind of filter it and all that type of stuff to listen to it again. Because it was one of those things where when we're doing these real heavy critical analyses of why something doesn't work, it's very fascinating to me to go back and listen to it, because I just like the critical analysis we get into, along with our sort of fun banter, stuff like that. So this won't be lively or whatnot, but the Assault on Precinct 13 one came out really nicely, so you guys are going to hopefully enjoy that. I'll be posting that sometime within the next week, I think. So just got to get my schedules out of when we're going to release things, because we've got a whole bunch of things coming out for Forever Horror Month. So these are the two commentaries we have in the bag for this month. So I just got to space them out in a certain way and see how things are going to land by the time we get together for the next recording session. So this is up on that. And obviously with media pickup, stuff like that, if you probably saw it in the feed, if you didn't watch the video, got the Steelbook release of Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, which has the new 4K transfer from the original camera negative. Put out 2 years ago. And I just recently kind of got interested in getting it, because last couple times I watched Season of the Witch, which I watch it regularly enough, that I was like, it's a good Blu-ray, but I think like it could look a little better. It could have a little extra quality to it. There's a little extra something to it, I think. So I got interested in this, and it was kind of a hard thing to come by, because it is a limited edition. So whatever the case was, how many copies they put out, but it was kind of scarce to come by. But Amazon finally got it back up. It was a little like $22, $23 or whatnot, but with as scarce as it was, I'd really kick myself if I didn't get it. Because also this, as we always do with the commentaries, to turn on your subtitles, this didn't have subtitles on the original version that's on the box set or the original collector's edition release. They did add in English subtitles for this, along with the new transfer. And so everything else is the same on the features, all that type of stuff. So just added in subtitles and gave you a brand new transfer of the whole film. So hopefully you watched the video and enjoyed getting the comparisons between the two different transfers. If you are a Patreon subscriber, pledge $1 a month at least. I did put it up on my Vimeo Plus as well, because the compression quality is a lot higher there. So you could, because with YouTube, there's a lot of the compression quality that gets a little bit obscured with the details. I felt like, okay, for the Patreon people, I can put it up on Vimeo Plus. If you want to see it in a little better quality, see a little bit more of the detail, the two different transfers, a little bit more into just the type of stuff to get a better resolution and compression quality. So if you're on Patreon, if you get $1 a month, you can go back to the whole thing and watch the Vimeo Plus version to get a much higher version of this video. So that's that. And into Forever Horror Month here a little bit, because we've talked about plenty. It's not a secret, but we are covering the first couple of Saw films. And this is this trilogy pack I picked up last year, but I've not watched any of them yet. But the big thing is I just ordered the 7-film Blu-ray set, because that also has digital HD copy codes. And so basically the whole thing is, this trilogy pack has the R-rated version of the first film, but the unrated of the second and third film. Problem is, the most prevalent copy seems to be the unrated version of the first film. That's on the whole full collection pack or whatnot. They put the unrated version on the DVD. So even though I can watch this version, I still have to have the unrated version for the whole thing when we record the commentary. And obviously they strip out a lot of the bonus features on that full complete set. This one still has bonus features for 2 and 3. But point being, the digital HD versions, unlike Voodoo, do have at least a featurette or something like that for each one of the films. So a little bit of something, it only costs about $10 and change. So that'll be coming up soon, so I can get that. I didn't get the one for the 8th film that has Jigsaw on it, because that doesn't have the digital copy codes unless you get the Steelbook release, which is like twice the price. So anyway, that's just some information, but I've not watched any of these films. I have to get into watching them so we can record the commentaries for October. So I have a lot of things to watch. I gotta watch The Hidden twice for a commentary and proper. I gotta watch at least the first 2 of these films. And I gotta start getting into other stuff that I want to do for videos for the rest of the month. So it's very, very busy. So you guys, you can see how much time goes into a lot of this stuff. Having to prep for these commentaries for a lot of the ones I haven't seen yet. Because Steve's pushed for the Saw stuff for like a good long while. So I thought that was just something we really should get into, because it's a very popular franchise that seems to go off the rails after a certain point. So we need a little bit of that convoluted bullshit back in the mix after the Halloween franchise has kind of passed itself behind us. But anyway, so regards to that, moving forward on the next type of thing, Forever Horror Month is going to have at least this one video. I have a few other things planned we'll talk about a little later. But I did grab a Blair Witch Project on Blu-ray. I have the original DVD, which was one of the first DVDs I ever bought, because we got a player in October of '99, and this thing came out on DVD right around that time. So I still have it, and there's not much really to gain off of a Blu-ray version of a film shot the way this was, both on like 16mm or Super 8mm and just kind of like VHS camcorder footage. So it's not much there, but I think the audio quality is probably a little bit better because it's a lossless audio track. They have some alternate endings that don't amount to much, but I feel like this is a good one to get, because also on the DVD, because it's the same way they do it, present it theatrically, but they have sort of almost like a window box type of effect, where they had the full frame revealed, where you have these kind of rounded corners around the edge of the frame, but it's a very thick black frame around the whole thing. They put a lot of black space around it. So I felt like with the Blu-ray, where they kind of put it into a much more standard 4:3 format, it'll probably look a little bit better. The quality from the higher resolution source will work better in the actual video. So again, another thing was only about $10. I thought it was just worthwhile, and so it'll add into that, because I just had Blair Witch Project on my mind for quite a while now, at least a month or 2 or whatnot. I just want to get into it. I just want to kind of discuss this film, because I haven't watched it in so long, but there's a lot to talk about with the whole film in terms of the fabulous Fox documentary, Curse of the Blair Witch. It was phenomenal. And all the little things, because it's not a film that I can break down like I do everything else, because it's found footage. I can't break down like the cinematography and the screenwriting and the regular acting performances. Is a very different style of film. I'm just kind of interested in doing something that's a little different, just approach it in a different type of way, discuss it differently than a lot of other films. So I'm just like, just want to get into it. I just want to get into that and kind of analyze it and get into it and just all that other stuff. It's just been a constant interest I've had for quite a while now. So that's definitely on the list for Forever Horror Month. And a few other things we'll get into later on once I get through the rest of the stack here. But something else I picked up from Amazon that it came up back in stock is the UK region-free version of Payback, which has both the director's cut and the theatrical cut, because in the US they only put the director's cut on Blu-ray. It was only DVD for the theatrical, which I've had both on DVD, but I really wanted to upgrade, mainly because I do want to do a video on this, because I think it's very, very interesting to compare and contrast and analyze both versions, which are very tonally different versions and have very different elements to them. Definitely a completely different ending, a lot of different scenes added back into the director's cut. There's a lot of interesting stuff to talk about, and one of my great friends, one of the actors I regularly worked with for a number of years, Steve Vucic, he was in my film Dead of Night and a few other little things we did. He was a big fan of the Donald Westlake novels. I think he went under a different, under the name Richard Stark, pen name Richard Stark, but he was a very big fan of that type of stuff, and he was very much, probably a very big proponent of the director's cut, which is a much meaner type of thing that's much more faithful to the original stories and everything. So a lot of these different things. So I have a lot of background to kind of pull on to be informed about the genesis and the evolution and the adaptations and all that different stuff. So there's a lot of stuff to get into that I think was to make a very interesting and excellent video to get into in due time. So that's cool type of stuff there. And they do have some commentary and stuff and various other things. They kind of poured all the featurettes and stuff like that from both DVDs onto that Blu-ray, so it's all covered. I have a lot of stuff to work with. It's really cool type of stuff. So there's that, and something else we're kind of toying in with the commentaries, because C's kind of brought it up here and there and stuff like that. And last time I picked up Expendables 2, and this time I picked up the unrated, well, not unrated, but it's the extended director's cut of the first Expendables film, with Sly Stallone as the director. So for exclusively on Blu-ray, he put together a brand new director's cut later on. So I still have the theatrical cut on DVD in case there's something we want to kind of revert back around or whatnot when we do it. But I think the director's cut will probably be the one we'll cover. But regards to that, so cool type of stuff. Get into that. I think we'll probably put it on the list for next year, because we got a lot of stuff to get through over the next couple of months. Sorry, I'm getting a little something in my throat here, but anyway, moving on to other stuff that's kind of alternate cut stuff like that, because I did grab up the Die Hard 5 film Blu-ray collection. Now, I already had, because of our commentaries that we did for the first three, I already have these on Blu-ray. But we were talking after we did the one for Die Hard with a Vengeance about doing the fourth film, because I guess Trent and Steve pretty much had seen it and thought it wasn't really all that bad of a film. So the only thing is, the only way to get the unrated version in HD on Blu-ray is to get this set, because they did put it out, but it's only on DVD. If you get the Blu-ray set, it's the Blu-ray of the theatrical, and they put the unrated version on the DVD. So I had to go ahead and pull the trigger on this. So I have to figure out what the hell to do with these things over here, because now I have redundant copies that I don't need. But at least I got digital HD versions of the whole damn thing. I'm never going to watch the fifth film, because everything I've heard about it is just absolutely atrocious. Absolutely terrible. I don't think I can't see us doing the fifth film. It's just really, really bad from every opinion I've heard about it. But regards to that, that's something that's on the list for us to eventually get to. Just one of those things about figuring out where things are landing with Trent right now, because he's just involved with some different things about changing some things in life and here and there, stuff like that. So I got to touch base with him, see where things are landing for him at this point in time, and see if we can negotiate anything out for the remainder of the year, because I really like to get him back in the mix on these commentaries. I know you guys have probably kind of missed him a little bit, getting into the various things that we did for certain action films, stuff like that. So I think his personality is definitely missing around the channel lately, so he definitely needs to come back and get something else going. But some other stuff I picked up just randomly here and there, that I was over at Half Price Books, right? I think I grabbed up Expendables director's cut. They had the Scream Factory release of Robocop 2. It was listed as $7.99, and I'm absolutely certain that was a misprint, but a ring up $7.99, and I got that because they had the collector's edition of Robocop 3 for $17.99. I was like, I'm never going to find this for that price again. There is no way I'm going to find this for $8 anywhere. Someone had to have made a mistake making this $7.99, and I got to reap the benefits of it. So I was like, I couldn't pass it up. We might, whenever we get around to doing the first film, it's kind of a maybe about doing the second film. It's a here or there type of thing. I don't think we'll get the third film. Same thing with Die Hard 5. I don't think it's worth our while. But 2, maybe. I've seen 2 once. I thought it was okay. It had some problems, but it wasn't terrible. I thought it was okay. It was at least worth a watch. And getting this with the new transfer and all the bonus features, it was a no goddamn brainer for $8. You just can't pass up a Scream Factory release for that kind of price at all, period. But Half Price Books also had, they've got a lot of copies of Iron Man 2, so I figured I'd upgrade my DVD version. This is the 2-disc special edition, so it's a direct upgrade from what I had before, because I have the first and third movies on Blu-ray, and just like, it was just so weird just having that and the digital HD version, but I only have the DVD, and it's like, I just need to fix this. Just need to fix this. I think it was like $6. Why the fuck not? Again, they had a bunch of copies of it on both the single disc and the 2-disc. So like, what the fuck? Just grab it. It's just been sitting around here for goddamn ages. Might as well be someone who buys the damn thing. But yeah, I did come around to Iron Man 3 because I'm sure people probably watched my old review from opening weekend, where I was very, very critical and very upset about the film. When Avengers Endgame was coming out, I did all the marathons and just watched everything sporadically, and just like, it's alright, I can get through it, I'm fine with it, it's okay. Once I get past the expectation of the Mandarin type of stuff, I can enjoy it well enough. I still don't think it's fantastic, but it's alright, I can work with it. So I grabbed that on Blu-ray like a year and a half ago, so that's fine there. And I upgraded Terminator Salvation to this nice 2-disc edition here, because I had the director's cut was released as a Target exclusive on DVD. You couldn't get it anywhere else, so I have had that since forever ago, and just wanted to kind of even out the Terminator stuff, because I've got T1, T2, a lot of T2 on Blu-ray, but both of them in various formats, stuff like that. So this felt like I just want to get the HD version of this thing, because I got a digital version of it that's just a theatrical, but this has both versions on it and a whole bunch of extra bonus features I haven't had before. So I figured, what the fuck, go for it, just grab it up. It was a couple of bucks, it wasn't much, so it was fine getting it and stuff like that. It was like, obviously I reviewed all the Terminator films like 5 years ago when fucking Genesis was coming out, and that was a terrible goddamn movie. But Salvation is like one of those films, like, okay, it had ambition, it just couldn't connect all the plot elements to have it all make sense. It's like, there's a lot of things that's like, it didn't get Terminator right, but for like a post-apocalyptic action film, sci-fi type stuff, it was enjoyable to me. I think it was entertaining. I mean, there's some very good action sequences and extremely good effects work in the whole thing. Cinematography is really nice in certain places, and some of the performances are alright. It's like, it had enough things to kind of carry it to a certain point, but I just don't think Mick was quite the most adept filmmaker to really kind of do everything that he really wanted to do. I think he just really didn't have the filmmaking skills to really tell the story as well as it possibly could have been told. And of course, the screenwriters quite didn't get all the things kind of to make sense about how Skynet knows there's connection between Kyle Reese and John Connor and stuff like that. Do they know Kyle Reese is supposed to be his father? And about the time travel stuff and all this type of stuff. None of it made any sense. But it had a potential to it. It had a potential that I still kind of enjoy on occasion here and there and stuff like that. But I grabbed up Interview with the Vampire here and get away from the glare of the lights here and everything. But I hadn't watched it in so long. I have the old DVD version, and this was kind of a slight bit of like a 20th anniversary type of thing. They really didn't do like a remaster or anything, but they slapped a new featurette on this thing. I feel like, okay, I've had a slight inkling to watch it again. I haven't really done it because I've been so tied up with other shit. But yeah, just figure if I'm ever gonna touch on this thing again, I might as well get a little bit of an upgrade and something with an extra featurette. So this was a couple of bucks or whatnot over at the mall, so I grabbed it at FYE. Wasn't much to go on, but the fuck, just like, it's good. I mean, it's a really fantastic performances. Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. Antonio Banderas is wonderful in the whole thing. I mean, I know people kind of have the aversion to the Anne Rice overly lush and romanticized type of stuff, but it's still a good goddamn movie. It's still really good stuff. There's a lot of good stuff in it that's kind of creepy and kind of horrific in certain places. So it's like, it's still a good goddamn movie. So gotta check it out again. I just had the inkling to upgrade a couple of random things in the DVD collection and get things a little bit up, which this was kind of like in the bargain area of FYE. At the same time I was grabbing that, and fuck all if anyone remembers this movie at all. It really didn't perform very well, but Deception was this kind of it was put on in 2008. Hugh Jackman, Michelle Williams, Ewan McGregor. This kind of erotic thriller type of thing where there's kind of a lot of interesting sort of subterfuge and kind of obviously deception. So there's kind of Hugh Jackman plays this sort of guy who you think he's kind of one thing, and he kind of turns into sort of this dark, evil con man type of guy who's holding people hostage, and it's very interesting. I really liked it. I liked it because I still freaking have it. I had a DVD. I've got a Blu-ray now. I liked it. Wasn't phenomenal or anything, but it was kind of interesting. It's like it's got cinematography from Dante Spinotti, who Michael Mann worked with so many years, from Manhunter, The Heat, and all these different things. It even had the person Bonnie Timmerman, who's the casting director for a lot of Michael Mann films. Was like, this is very interesting that there's like a couple different Michael Mann alums kind of working behind the scenes on this movie. That I thought it was all right. It's like for kind of a nice, stylish sort of erotic thriller with maybe the ending kind of falls off a little bit in terms of the style and kind of loses a little bit of something here and there. But I thought it was all right. Obviously, I grabbed it up for a couple of bucks because I was just like, made a list of a couple of things that I think, okay, I can upgrade these things. I think it's all right. And again, it was in the bargain area. It was few bucks. I figured, what the fuck? Who cares? I care. I grabbed it because I was like, if I don't buy this, who the fuck is? Because who remembers this movie? It's 12 years old. It bombed at the box office. I'm pretty certain of that, and stuff like that. So it's just a nice thriller. If you ever get a chance to watch it, go ahead and watch it. It's beautifully shot because, again, Dante Spinotti is a phenomenal cinematographer. Again, Heat and Manhunter and The Insider. I think he did Last Mohicans, stuff like that. The guy can shoot a film like nobody's business. So it's all right. Go ahead and check it out if you ever get the chance. If it pops up somewhere on Amazon Prime or something like that, it's worth it, goddamn. Plus, it's a 20th Century Fox title, so God knows, having so many problems finding 20th Century Fox titles lately because they're just disappearing. Fucking Disney's kind of ruining everything. They don't want to do live action 4K remasters anymore. So it's just all going to be like animated classics and stuff like that. They're just going to just dump all this back catalog and just not do anything with it. It's like, what the fuck you bought this fucking Fox catalog for? Why'd you buy 20th Century Fox if you're just going to sit on everything? Fuck all. Fuck all. Anyway. So guys, that's what I've got for media pickups. Again, I was going to talk about Little Forever Horror Month stuff. I am going to be covering The Invisible Man. Because I did shoot a video on opening weekend. But because there was such sparse footage to use to illustrate my analysis of the film, the editing process just didn't come together very well. So I kind of scrapped the idea of putting together the video because I just couldn't edit it satisfactorily. So I haven't watched it again since the theater. But that is on the list. I have to cover that. I just have to do that. It's absolutely essential. So Blair Witch and Invisible Man are definitely coming up. There are a couple of titles I was going to kind of entertain, but they're hard to come by, such as The Relic from Peter Hyams. Because after I did the one review for Outland, which is another Peter Hyams film, I kind of got the interest to do that, check that out, but the Blu-ray is not in print anymore, obviously, by the fact that it's costing like $30 to get it new on Amazon. So you have to buy it from like third-party sellers, stuff like that, and just like the cost that's going forward just feels way too much to be justifiable for me to grab it. And so I've been looking for months now just for something that has a decent price, and it just doesn't exist. So Paramount just kind of let it slip out of print or whatnot, and just kind of upsetting. But I did kind of rationalize, okay, maybe it'll come back into print at some point, because there is a deal between Paramount and Scream Factory right now, obviously by them doing Pet Sematary 2 and eventually doing Event Horizon and the entire Friday the 13th box set. There is a deal in place, and if there is a title that is out of print and it is a horror film, maybe they'll announce The Relic sometime for next year. God knows, who knows? it'd be really cool to get that. They could do a really good job with it. I think it'd be a really solid title for them to put out, especially if they do maybe like a new 4K scan, because I do have the Laserdisc, because my friend Oliver Harper, when I first got my Laserdisc player, put together like a starter pack of some discs and whatnot to send me. But because Peter Hyams shot the film so dark, probably wouldn't be able to see much on that Laserdisc. I think the Blu-ray is kind of the only one that has at least a decent enough picture quality to really see what he was photographing there. There is a version overseas that doesn't have the interviews or commentary tracks from Peter Hyams, but it looks like from the caps they kind of brighten the image a tad bit to make it a little clearer, but it'd be nice to get a new scan of it and stuff like that to get the best quality possible. So I've kind of rationalized it. Okay, I'll just put that on the back burner, see if something kind of develops over the next maybe 6 or 8 months or something like that, see if a new version gets put out there for us. I was thinking about doing something with The Ring, the Gore Verbinski version, because Steve brought it up during our commentary for the Chainsaw remake. And got my thoughts stirring about it, just to maybe recheck it out or whatnot, but apparently the version that's up brand new on Amazon is actually a BDR, a recordable disc, not something that was pressed, but like burned off of a disk drive, stuff like that. So I'm not terribly hot on getting that, because that's what the Blu-ray forums or whatnot are saying about that version. So I'd like to find an older pressing, but it's kind of harder to find that, at least at a decent price. So not saying I was going to do a review on it, I just wanted to revisit it. If I was going to revisit it, I'd like to have the disc or whatnot to see if I could capitalize on liking it or having some analysis. But it's like I could either do a review on it, or I think we could also probably do a commentary. So I'm either way on swinging that door around to see what happens. So I do have to at least revisit it at some point and then get a physical copy for us to do something with either way. So there's that. And I still haven't watched Near Dark, because I bought the DVD a year ago, but the film is out of print. You can't get a brand new copy of this at all anywhere. Neither Studio Canal or Lionsgate have this thing in print at all. Obviously, people probably think somewhere along the way you would get a new 4K version from Studio Canal would eventually probably do a 4K remaster. Lionsgate kind of sits on a lot of things and doesn't do things, especially by evidence of this freaking Saw stuff over here, where it's like this hundreds of millions of dollars they've grossed off of that franchise, and they treat it kind of like shit on home video, where they got versions are like, okay, this is the R-rated version, then they're going to put out the unrated version, then, oh, this film's going to also have a director's cut we're going to put out on a separate disc, and then the Blu-rays, they're not going to have any lossless audio tracks, and we put them on this whole like 7 or 8 film complete collection thing. We're going to re-encode the video at a higher bitrate, but we're going to give you a lower bitrate audio format that's compressed down, so they treat it like shit. Lionsgate just has nothing with their back catalog. Just fucking nothing, unless someone else gives them a remaster. So Studio Canal gives them remasters of the Rambo films and Total Recall now and various other things. So it's like, Lionsgate's a pain in the ass in a lot of those cases about not putting this stuff out and giving the initiative to give really high quality and brand new versions of a lot of stuff, unless someone just hands it to them. So just like one of those pain in the ass things where I kind of lost my train of thought. What was it? Near Dark. Something about Near Dark. I got sidetracked. But Near Dark, haven't watched it yet. If I do watch it and I want to do a video on it, I'll have to do it from the standard definition copy, because you can't find a Blu-ray of this for any decent price. It's all, as things go out of print, the prices get jacked up to a ridiculous price. I just saw on Amazon Marketplace, it was just fucking insane. Because, again, another Fox style that seems to be hard to find is Commando. And they did put out a director's cut, which I have the director's cut on DVD with the regular theatrical version. But Amazon Marketplace, there is someone selling a Blu-ray steelbook of Commando, the director's cut, for over $1,500. And someone else selling it for over $1,800. Like, what the fuck you expect to pay for this? It's like a down payment on a fucking car. I'm gonna buy a freaking Blu-ray for that kind of money? You're insane. What the fuck is doing this shit? But it's just this weird fucking secondhand outer print market that just gets so fucking insane. So you can't find anything for a decent price once it goes out of print. But anyway, so that's the type of stuff, like all the things I'm kind of having problems with wanting to do. And there's other stuff I want to do, like Exorcist 3, but I gotta watch so much bonus content. I gotta watch 2 versions of both films to cover them at all. And it's one of those things, like, it just keeps happening. It's like, I keep wanting to cover these films. Like, I watch 2 different versions of the film, then watch, like, a commentary track, and watch a 2-hour documentary. I gotta sit down and watch this stuff all day long. I don't always have the time to do that, so there's a lot of stuff I want to do, and I just don't really get as much time to really kind of dig into it and do it. So it's just very complicated stuff. There's a lot of stuff that goes into setting up and preparing and researching and all these different things for these videos. And sometimes it gets very difficult to cover it all, and very difficult to find the time to research all this stuff and watch all this content to prepare for a very good, solid type of video that I want to be as informed about as possible to give you as much information and proper analysis as I go into these videos. So a lot of stuff, man. It's very exhaustive type of stuff to get into everything and find the time and energy to just delve into it and get into it and stuff like that. So it's a lot of shit, man. It's a lot of shit. And there's a couple other things, like I kept thinking about, because I did a video for Mike Dickel's Jack Nicholson film, The Wolf, back in 2013. And it's one of these kind of regular short, like 10-12 minutes videos where it's very early on, difficult type of stuff, but I got this like UK Indicator series Blu-ray of it 2 years ago. And I just kept sitting on it, not doing a video, because I kept pushing it off, doing other things. And just by the fact that I've sat on it so long, like all the information from the like 55-minute documentary on that disc is now just all up on the IMDb trivia page. And it feels like there's no real point to do the damn video now, because you just find the information all on IMDb trivia. It doesn't feel like I can be fresh about the whole thing. It's like all this new information from this documentary that came out that's only available in this UK region free version. I don't know. I was toying around with it about a month or so ago, and just like I couldn't get up for it because I just didn't feel like it didn't feel exciting as exciting as the thought used to be to me. So I don't know how many people are clamoring for me to do an extensive video on Wolf or whatnot, because I was watching this wonderful video. I watched Patrick H. Willems' stuff. His video essays are phenomenal. They're very entertaining. I really love the one he did that ties into this. He did one on this sort of series of, like, you call it like the 90s dark universe, where we had Bram Stoker's Dracula and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and then you had Wolf, and then you had like a couple other little films here and there going on from Sony Pictures that are kind of like taking all those like universal monsters but doing their own interpretations of them. He did a fantastic job with that video, and they kind of sparked something off with that. But obviously kind of fizzled out when I like realized I don't even have any fresh information. All the information I had is from a Blu-ray that's like 2 or 3 years old now, that has all the information out there now just on the IMDb trivia page. It just didn't seem as enthusiastically interesting to get into it now. And so I don't know. Whatever the case is, I got a lot of things going on, and just like I have a really solid list of stuff to get into, but random stuff. This is a very long video, so I'm gonna cut it off here, guys. It's much longer than usual, but take a breath there, and hopefully you guys have found some interest in this menagerie of random shit I have here. Because again, Payback will come around at some point in time, and we're doing all these commentaries for Sold on Precinct 13, then the Chainsaw prequel, which will be the last Chainsaw film we do for a good long stretch of time. We got a lot of things to get into, and the goddamn franchise has been really tiring to get through. It's a terrible franchise. It really is. There's a lot of fucking crap in that franchise. Oh, anyway, guys, so hopefully you'll enjoy those commentaries when they come up this month. If you want to get them a little bit early, get up on Patreon. $1 a month gets you early access to every single commentary that we do, and you get a whole downloadable archive of that stuff. And in regards to retro video series, I did add in a Patreon goal. Now, if we do reach this goal, which is a very far way to go in terms of where we are now, I will end up doing a series of videos regarding the history of the Star Wars original trilogy on various formats. On the older formats, on VHS, on Laserdisc, stuff like that. But there's a lot of versions and it costs a lot of money to grab these versions for me to be able to have the video and analyze things and give you a proper presentation of the stuff. So if you're very much interested in having me cover that on this retro video series, which is still very much in its infancy, as things go along, as it builds up, that's something I have as a goal if we end up reaching that, because it just, again, very expensive type of stuff to grab all these versions and analyze them and present them to you guys. So that's just a thing. If you're interested in that happening eventually, that's something you can contribute to a Patreon and help reach that goal. But regardless of that, guys, you always got early access to every video, all the commentaries, all the different stuff. So hopefully we'll get you around regardless, and you'll be watching stuff as it comes out any which way on whatever platform. So guys, thank you so very much. Steve and I are still kicking out commentaries and we're having a fun time of it. But like I said, I'll try to see where his trend is right now and see if we can negotiate something to get him back into the fold here, because I'm sure there's a lot of guys out here, a lot of you people out there are very much interested to hear him back in the mix and his style of commentary and stuff like that. So thanks so much, guys. Hope you stay well. Take care. Bye-bye.